All right. Happy Sunday, folks. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Judith, Catherine, Elle. Hi, Key. Good afternoon. Rachel. Happy Sunday. I hope everyone is well and having a good Sunday. Thank y'all for being here. All right. I am not going to be on long. Happy Sunday. Hi, Cynthia. Happy Sunday. Rachel, did I speak to you? I think I did. Happy Sunday. Hi, Sandra. Good day. Hi, WLJ. Happy Sunday. Wander Saver. Hi. I miss being in San Miguel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hi, Stephen. Happy Sunday. Good afternoon. Good morning. Um, I am home. I am not staying here full time yet, but I am here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, you're not smiling, but you're in your home. I think I'm smiling. All right, let me do my intro. I am not staying long. It is midday, so it is warmed up, and there are 10 million things outside calling me to do. WLJ, I hope you are um, feeling better. I hope you're feeling better. Hi, Rosalind. Hi, Gabrielle. Welcome. Happy Sunday to you. All right, we'll do my intro, and then we can get started. Hi, Michelle. Happy to see you here. Missed you as well. So as I do my intro, my name is Jewel Pearson. This is Miss Bohemian Soul TV. As I intro myself, I say that I built a kind of fancy tiny house in 2015. This one, because I don't believe you have to give up luxury to go tiny. And since that time, I have shared my journey to hopefully inspire others who are interested in the movement. I do offer coaching and consultations to help others in their tiny house journey. And once this video goes live, you will be able to find the links to schedule with me in the video description below. And as I'm doing all of that, I do serve up a lot of representation along the way. I do want us to see ourselves and be part of this movement and help us grow and benefit from everything that the tiny house movement has to offer. So if you find the information helpful, the video helpful, be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel, and then turn on the notifications so that you'll know when content is live and when we're over here chatting and doing the things. So yes, I am in the house. I am. So this part of the house, for the most part, is the easy part was the easy part to get together. Even though I have a couple of challenges that are happening right now. So I'm not staying here full time, and I was going to talk about that. And then today's conversation is about. Hi, Mara. Happy Sunday. Leaning into grace. And that is absolutely what I am doing right now. Tomorrow is my 1 year anniversary for having experienced the mini stroke. And as I have been thinking about and this experience of moving my house, I have thought about that a lot. Because really that's the impetus for me actually taking the steps to make this move. Hi, Teresa. And so early on as I've shared, so most of my after effects of the mini stroke are neurological. Like I've shared with you all, my word recall and my memory challenges. So I don't necessarily have the external physical effects that you really would know that I've had a mini stroke. But sometimes you'll see it and experience it in conversation and I'm very open with that. And one earlier on as I was trying to figure out all of the impact, and that is my impact because of where the stroke occurred in the brain, as my neurologic neurologist, that's it, shared with me. It's where it happened, so that has caused those effects. It also, as I've shared, so I've always been a crier, but now I can just cry at the drop of a dime. And so that also has to do with where the mini stroke occurred in my brain. But earlier in the year, from one of my appointments, my neurology appointments, I was getting on the elevator, and I was processing the conversation that had just been had at the appointment, and may have been headed into a space of not really feeling, I don't want to say frustrated, but feeling some type of way about this experience, the experience of having a stroke, and all the things. Like, I really was in my head processing my appointment, and there was another older man getting on the elevator with me, and he asked me, he said, "What does that say?" And so I automatically assumed he was asking something about my T-shirt that I had on. So I got ready to explain my T-shirt, what it was, whatever it was saying, and I don't remember what I had on. And he said, "No," he said, "the tattoo that's on the back of your neck." Um, and that kind of pulled me forward. So I have a tattoo right here on the back of my neck, and it's kanji symbols that represent God's grace. And I got that tattoo in 2007, uh, after my experience with pulmonary embolisms. And so I had bunches of blood clots in both of my lungs. And I'd had them for about 3 days and had just been kind of walking around. I thought I'd pulled a muscle, and finally took myself to the ER. I drove myself to the ER because I didn't want to spend the money. I woke up, couldn't breathe, felt like somebody was sitting on my chest, and I drove myself to the ER. I was a different Jewel then. I drove myself to the ER because I didn't want to spend the money on an ambulance. But the ER was down the street, but I still should have called an ambulance. But anyway, long story short, I was in the hospital for 7 days, and as one of the nurses expressed to me, so I had bunches of blood clots in both of my lungs. And fast forward to this stroke, one of my surgeries was fixing an issue that caused me to have propensity for blood clots. But didn't know that in 2007. And as I was in the hospital, one of the nurses said to me that most people drop dead from one blood clot, and I had bunches of blood clots in both lungs. And so she told me I should keep very still until they were able to get some medicine into me. Um, and that was like the magnitude of what I experienced at that time. And so I know at 100% certainty, having those blood clots for 3 days, walking around with them. I actually had been working out. I thought I was trying to stretch out that what I thought was a pulled muscle. I know at a certainty I should have expired. I should have been dead based on what I had going on in my body. And my tattoo I got after probably a year after that experience, to remind me of God's grace that kept me at that point, because that's exactly what it was. And so fast forward to getting on the elevator from the neurology appointment from my appointment after this mini stroke. When the gentleman asked me what that said, I immediately thought to myself, "Okay, God, I hear you. Thank you." Because I was getting ready to go into my feelings, a whole bunch of things, my thought process about my appointment, and I knew that to be lean into your grace. And instead of going down into that rabbit hole of your feelings and everything, of managing where you are post this stroke, just know that you are covered in grace and be grateful for that grace. And I immediately flipped my thought process, because I knew that was a message. Like, nobody ever, I've had a couple of people over, like I've had this, excuse me, I've had this now for many years, since 2007, and very rarely does someone ask me what it says. And so for that gentleman to ask me at that particular time, when I know I was getting ready to go down into some thoughts about post mini stroke, I felt like that was a message. Lean into your grace. Hold on to your grace. Be grateful for the grace that has kept you to this point, because um, I have skirted along the lines of things that have taken folks out, and it has been nothing but grace that has kept me. And so, as I was sharing about the house, kind of the progress of the house, um, so my intention is to, um, the addition is going to take probably 2 to 3 weeks to get it back together. The work that has to be done, maybe not it. So contractors right now are kind of stretched really thin, so they're working on multiple jobs. So if I had a contractor who was dedicated to this process, it probably wouldn't take. Um, Me too, Carolina Care. Thank you. His grace is absolutely sufficient. It probably wouldn't take the 2 to 3 weeks, but because the contractor is splitting his time, um, it will it will take the 2 to 3 weeks probably. So my intention is to I can be here in the tiny house on wheels while the work is being done out there, and that is my intention. And so this part of the house is put together for the most part, except for the plumbing. The electricity now has been on maybe a couple of weeks, and the plumbing is now what I'm waiting on. And I have been close to having the plumbing up and running now 3 times, and each time we get ready to, okay, it should be ready now, something else has happened. And so the first thing that happened was a leak on the side, on the outside of the house. And I immediately was getting ready to go into, like, okay, so the back of my house has metal on it, it's not wood. And so the plumber was um and my house is, so it's not the standard bill that most plumbers are used to dealing with. And so this was a new plumber, and he was automatically assuming that something major was wrong, and I was getting ready to go right there with him. And then I pulled, because he was saying, it's got to be something in the trailer. And he was getting ready to take me into this space of, oh my God, there's something majorly wrong. And then I went back to, because I designed the house. I did the research for the design of my house, especially the systems, the plumbing, and um, how I wanted the plumbing set up. I was adamant at the time that I did not want any of the plumbing to go into the trailer that the house is built on. I wanted it on the outside of the walls, specifically for experiencing a leak, because I knew if the plumbing went down into the trailer, and the trailer is probably it has some, mm, I don't know what you would call it. All I have right now is gullies, but it has some inserts on the inside of the trailer. They're probably about a foot and a half deep, and then it's got insulation, and then it's the subfloor. And so I knew, and that the inserts might be even deeper than a foot and a half. But I knew at the time that if we ran the plumbing in the trailer, that if I had a leak, by the time I know I had a leak, it would be terrible. Like it would just be like throw the whole house away by the time I'd know that I had a leak. So I was adamant that the plumbing not run into the trailer. And I was also, I lost my train of thoughts. That's what I'm talking about. Um, oh, I was also adamant about the fact that I didn't want the, I paid extra to have a casing added under the trailer because y'all know I don't do bugs and snakes and stuff. So I paid extra to have them fabricate the underbody of the trailer as they were building the trailer. And so I was adamant during the build to not have anybody breach that because, again, I wanted to maintain the integrity of that. So as he was getting ready to go into it's got to be major, I remembered all of that stuff that from my original build. I also have some pictures that I've saved from the build process because I wanted to document how the build was so I could refer back to it if I needed to. And so we had to pull the metal back a little bit and then realized it was just the intake valves of where the water goes in. So it wasn't anything major at all. It wasn't anything leaking. And he kept saying it's got to be in the trailer. I don't. And I was kind of quiet because one of the things with dealing with Rosalind is right. One of the things in yeah, no, I can't multifunction. Um, as he was, God, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, y'all. I'm tired. He was getting ready to go into panic mode. We pulled the metal back, and it was just the intake valves of the where the water goes into the house. Something really minor that could be replaced easily. And oh, I was getting ready to say one of the things Rosalind was saying plumbers are drama queens. A lot of times in dealing with contractors, especially as a woman, um, and because they know their field, I'm not a plumber, and so you often defer to their expertise. And so he was just getting ready to get me into him speaking more. Really nice guy, so I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but um into his authority, and sometimes it's hard to push against that when they have this area of expertise. And I'm not a plumber, but I do know my house. And so I was able to save myself from going down in the rabbit hole. And it was just the replacement of the intake valves. The grace part for me came in because okay, so the second thing. So that was the first thing. So then we replaced those things, and then the next thing again. So the water should be ready, and so water was on, but I didn't have any hot water, and so hi Rose. And so then we realized the second issue is the my on-demand water tank. And so I have a small electric on-demand ream. I'm going to throw ream in there. On-demand ream water tank that's up underneath the cabinet in the bathroom. And so two things happened to it. So somehow the electrical lines got cut to it. And then the second thing is that it's leaking um, where it should not be. This is my third um, third Ream on-demand water tank. I have determined that Ream's water on-demand water tanks, which is why I'm saying their names, the name has like a 3-year shelf life. And it's so by the time it gets to year 3 and it starts falling apart, it is outside of the warranty period. So this is actually my third Ream on-demand water tank. The other piece of it, which is why I don't complain a lot about it. Like I try to, hello, I try to also recognize. So I've been on farms for the last 5 years, and there's a lot of sediment oftentimes in well water, even with the filter. And so sediment negatively impacts on demand water tanks. It negatively impacts your plumbing um, anyway. And so I can't 100% complain about the on demand water tank because I also have this sediment. So the electricity was, the lines were cut to the water tank. The water tank is leaking. The intake valves were leaking, and all of this was happening like every couple of days. So we fix something, and then expect that the water should be working, and I'm thinking, okay, I can come home. And then a couple of days later, so we fix that. Then a couple of days later, when you think it should be working, something else would happen. So then that gets fixed. And then, so this has been like a week and a half process and no water yet. So that means I still can't stay in the house. And I have taken, when I go back to leaning into the grace, so I've taken a couple of uh, two or three things away from that, which is what I wanted to share with you all. I trust that I will be in my house when I'm supposed to be in my house and not a day sooner. And so I'm trusting that this process is this process, and I'm just going with the flow. I'm grateful that I have the means to stay in other places. Right now, I'm staying in a friend's house. I've been in Airbnb, I've been in hotels. I'm grateful that I have the means and access to stay somewhere else. So that's the first thing. I know I will be here when I'm supposed to be here. The second thing where I'm leaning into grace is the my house is 10 years old. The intake valves for the plumbing, the water tank, the water on demand water heater not working like it's supposed to. Um, these are things that could have happened when I was at the other location. And the challenge then was that it was so hard to get contractors to come out there where I was. The location contractors just didn't want to come out there because of the distance. And so I feel like there was a lot of grace in that the nodules, the leak could have happened a month ago, 2 months ago, and I would have had a major problem, not only in trying to fix it and figure out what was wrong, but also trying to get somebody to come out there. Same thing for the on-demand water heater. So there's a lot of grace in the fact that these things held on, and I don't know. There's a video on Instagram. This black woman, and she's having this conversation. She's different parts of a car, and it's all the different parts of a car having a conversation on how they get ready to mess up this woman's day. Like who's getting ready to act up to mess up this woman's day. And it's the radiator and the brakes and the this and and they're all having this conversation with each other about who's getting ready to do what. And I have imagined that my house has said, we get ready to hold on to let her live so she can get somewhere else out of this space, and we're gonna hold on as long as we can, and then we're tired. My house is 10 years old. The intake valves are just really the faucets, the turn faucet that you might have outside your house for a spigot. That's how we designed the intake for my water. Not very expensive to replace. The labor wasn't. I mean, the labor is always more than. No, I ain't gonna say always, but the labor was more than the part. But again, the access to have somebody to fix it, I wouldn't have had access like I have right now. And so there's grace in that this has happened now for me. Um, and that's, and one of the main things I know is that I get to walk in grace. Um, the the fact that I am sitting here right now in a new location, in a location that I really, really like, with neighbors. My neighbor who owns this property actually gave me a card and a housewarming gift to tell me how excited that she is that I'm here. Um, I have ordered DoorDash, I think 3 times since I've been here working in the house. Um, and the very first time I was working and I was starving, I was like, you're going to have to go get something to eat. And then it occurred to me, you can order DoorDash here. And so I've ordered DoorDash at least 3 times. And the funny thing, the other day, the guy came and he was bringing the food and he said, y'all are out here. Y'all are kind of far out here. And I just chuckled and I wanted to say, you don't know what out here is, because at least out here I can order DoorDash. That wasn't even an option where I was before. So out here is relative, sir. Um, but the grace, and somebody said grace and gratitude. Absolutely. Grace and gratitude in that. And Rosalind is saying, my house held on and now it's showing out in front of your new company. Um, the grace in that all of these things could have happened before. Um, and I would have been kind of stuck because trying to get someone to fix it would have been a major thing. And so I haven't even, I'm not frustrated. I do hope to figure this all out soon. Um, I thought I had it figured out yesterday, because and I also, let me go back. So the Ream water tank, um, the leak happened first, and I was just going to fix it, and then we discovered that and then we discovered the electrical wire had been cut. And so in my slow process, what I realized is I was getting ready to fix this Ream thing that I know has a shelf life of about 3 years, and it's been 3 years for this one. I was going to fix it and most likely have to have it replaced again, because I know from history that it has a shelf life of 3 years. And so I've taken this opportunity to research and replace, and I've ordered another on-demand water tank that has much better reviews. And one of the reviews said, I'm replacing my Ream. I replaced my Ream on-demand water tank with this one, and I'm having much more success. He said something about his dying as well. And so instead of spending money, the way this has happened and it's not, and the thing not working, has allowed me to think through, don't waste money on replacing this. Just get something newer that will have a warranty that will then be able to work. Like, while I have somebody here doing the work, I might as well do the work at the level of not putting patches on something that's going to break again soon. And so the Catherine must have saw me getting ready to cry. Yes. Um, I held it down, Catherine. Thank you. Um, so that is the leaning in grace. For me, it is the grace to be here. The grace, tomorrow being a year um, ago that I experienced a mini stroke, and the terror of how that happened, and um, the isolation, um, being where I was, and the isolation as that happened, and just being out there knowing, kind of in the back of my head that was something that was, a concern, a major concern for me. So here, 365 days, I think it's a leap year, so maybe it'll be 366 days later, I have successfully um, healed from that. I've had 2 surgeries, healed from those surgeries, healed, as much as my body has healed, and it's still a process. It's an emotional process. In that 366 days, I have, um, and I'm on long-term disability, so I'm not working, but I've been able to relocate my house, been able to find a place to relocate my house, gratefully. And 366, 365 days later, sitting in this new space that I didn't even imagine a year or so ago. So it is the grace of, I was just talking last week or so about trusting the process, but the grace of knowing that things are working for you, that you don't even sometimes know things are working for you. And the reminders, like I've shared that my daily prayer is to be able to recognize my helpers. I'm so used to doing all the things, but being able to doing all the things by myself, being able to recognize my helpers. That man on the elevator who asked me what my tattoo said, like, again, nobody asked me what that says, like I didn't even know he could see it. To remind me to rest in the grace and to not go into that space and that I was thinking of, but to recognize the grace of where I am, and being more in intention and being more present. Um, and I'm exhausted doing all of this work, but I'm also listening to my body, so I know when I'm not going to be here long today. I've got some stuff I want to do, but I also am going to call it a early day because I'm tired. I'm listening to my I'm listening to my body, and so because I have to, like, that is one of the things that I require myself to do post the mini stroke, having resting and taking care of my body, and being more aware of my grace, and be more aware of my gratitude. And so I feel like it is so important for us to, like I said, from the beginning, I will be in the house when I'm supposed to be in the house. And I feel like we have to, and as I'm sharing, when I say we, y'all know I'm always talking to myself too. We have to recognize that things are working for us in our favor. That have to recognize that I walk in grace every day, and grace is sufficient. And um, the reminders are there if we're paying attention, and that is one of the things that I am really focused on, being attentive to grace and gratitude. Absolutely. Um, all right, I'm gonna go back and see what I missed. Hi, Teresa. Elaine, I am much better. Thank you. Hi, Lamo T. Hi, JW. Um, let's see what else I see. Um, Hi, Cynthia. Yes, Michelle, 1 year, and I have progressed. I'm grateful. I am going to see a neuropsychologist or something like that. Like, there's nothing really like the memory, the word recall, that's like damage um, from where the blood clot hit in my brain. So it's nothing really that can be done to fix that. Like, there's um, like I can do games on my phone, but there's really no healing of that. But I am going to see a neuropsychologist because I want to have some markers to like do some testing to understand where I am now, and to kind of track the progression, or just I don't want to even say progression because I'm not hoping that it progresses other than improve. So I am doing that, but I'm very, very grateful for my progress. Thank you, Elle. Absolutely. Hi, Linda. Hey, Robert. How are you? Um, Hi, Sophia. Happy Sunday to you. Um, Hey, Rosebud. Yes, I do know my house, and that is one of the things. Like when I talk about tiny houses, that is one of the things that I absolutely love about my house is that I designed it, researched. I know my house from the trailer up. I sourced the trailer. I sourced all of the material for my tiny house. I was on site every day. I had the ability, gratefully, I had the ability to be there. So I do know my house. I just have to remember that when, like, under pressure, um, when contractors are being dramatic, remembering that this is my baby. This is the house that I built in, and kind of stepping back in out of the contractor drama and recognizing that. Um, Cynthia's asking, can you purchase a home warranty for tiny homes? It depends on if you work with a builder. Yes, some builders offer home warranties for a certain period of time. So depending on your builder that you work with, yes. My house was more of a self build working with a contractor. So there was a limited warranty on um, the structure, but um, not like a major warranty like you have with I guess a house warranty. And I don't even think a house warranty works like it's supposed to all the time. So yeah, I got a whole driveway, so I can see somebody pulling the driveway, and I think it's Amazon. So that's the goofy, the goofy grin. I have a whole driveway and a mailbox. So um, anyway, that is my grin. So yes, depending on who you work with to build your house, you can have a home warranty. The the repair that happened, like I said, it was the fixture, the water fixture, the water spigot. Maybe that cost five, maybe $10 at Lowe's. Not a big repair, and it's maybe it cost, like I said, $10, but it's lasted 10 years, and so it deserved to break. I'm sure that thing is tired. All the sediment, being outside in the cold, all the things is for $10. That thing said, "Child, time is up." I'm just grateful it gave me the option to wait until now. So yes, and Rosalind said there is a lesson in the delay, and and Michelle said when it is supposed to happen, it will happen. Absolutely. JW is saying sometimes all you can do is be patient with the process. It will all work out. Absolutely. I have said that from the beginning. So most of you know I was looking at another location that didn't work out. A beautiful location on the lake, but it didn't work out from an expense perspective. I also recognized it didn't work out after we had the hurricane, and I've shared that the lake that it's on, they released some of the water from Asheville into the two lakes here into Charlotte. I'm terrified of rushing big water flooding. So I didn't need, as in hindsight, I didn't need to be that close to the lake in the first place. And God will remind you of things. Or as they say, God looks out for fools and babies. Like, child, you might not be thinking, but you don't need to be over there because you're scared. So it didn't work out to go to that location in the way this happened. I just had my ad on Craigslist. I've shared that I use Craigslist when, and there's a video where I talk about finding placement. Obviously, I have the findtinyhouseparking.com site, but Craigslist is also sometimes an option. And I just had my ad out there because I had forgotten to shut it down because I really thought I had a location. And the woman here saw my ad, and I'd met her 4 years ago, talking to her initially about a spot in her backyard when it was just this part of the tiny house. And she saw my ad and reached out and reminded me that we had met before. And so I've shared in trusting the process that this just kind of happened organically, and I didn't push any of it, and it kind of just has gone fallen into place. Um, so trusting the process and going with the flow and not pushing things, but knowing that things are working for me in the background. Um, oh, thank you, Catherine. The house is um it's almost it's got a lot of extra stuff in here that belongs out in the other area, but it'll stay in here until we're all together. But I'm happy to be here too. Um, happy to be here. Hi Royal, welcome. Happy Sunday to you. Yes, DoorDash is grace. Thank you, Rosebud. Um, Witness says, you are about to have an amazing 2025. The residue will dissipate in 2024. This is because you are still gratitude focused. Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. JW said, life is just life, and life is life. And yeah, Nasilia is saying, thank God for the stroke because it alerted you to go heal yourself. I agree with that 100%. I recognize that from when I said I was a different jewel, the blood clots. Let me look at the clock because I'll be in here talking to y'all and I need to be outside working. Um, the blood clots in 2007 changed me. I was um, so not focused on listening to my body. So when I went to the hospital, I was trying to tell them what to do and write me a prescription because I had stuff to do. And I had to pull a muscle, give me a muscle relaxer, and I absolutely would have killed myself. Um, and they did their jobs like they were supposed to, like the professionals they are, not listening to me, the non professional who knew everything. And that changed me because that was 2 weeks before my 40th birthday. And I had no idea how close I was to not seeing my 40th birthday. And so that changed me. It changed me so much for the better. And I became a whole different person. And the mini stroke has done the same, changed me for for the better. It's when I share with you all the life quake, when something devastating happened, but it happens, but then it turns into something of benefit, something that you learn some goodness comes out of it. So I agree with that 100%. Absolutely. Michelle says the process of healing your home and healing your body. Absolutely. Trust trust the process. Absolutely. Hey V. Um yes, things are absolutely working out for my good. Um and so this new being you're becoming as a result. There are so many positive changes for me with this mini stroke, and that sounds so weird. Not weird. That sounds differently. I've said that it sounds whatever the word is. Um, to say I'm grateful for having experienced a stroke sounds I don't like weird for some reason, but that's the only word I can come up with right now. But I am. So many things have changed, like me offering myself the grace to allow myself to consider moving my house. Like when I've said I wouldn't consider it because I felt like the money, it was being wasteful. I'd spent money to build like I built out there, and it was like, kind of just deal with it. We're not going to spend money to move, the expense of that, and I wouldn't even consider it. And then post having a stroke, it became a necessity so I could feel safe. And I should have allowed myself that option to dream a new dream then, but I wasn't giving myself grace. And so there's been so much change. So much change. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Thank you, Elle. Oh, Teresa, we've missed you. Happy holidays to you as well, Judah. Royal said, "Oh, sookie, sookie now, a mailbox and a driveway, absolutely." And I have some numbers on my mailbox. I put the numbers on the mailbox myself. I put the mailbox together. Absolutely, a mailbox and a driveway. That is all mine. So yes, I agree. Um, hey Frederick, happy Sunday to you. Um, Teresa saying today at church they were talking about reversals and how they can be awesome or delayed, but everything is according to our destiny. Absolutely. Glorious Life on Wheels. Your perspective and response to something can have much more of an impact on you than the actual situation itself. Absolutely. How you respond. You have an opportunity to control a situation based on how you respond. I agree with that 100%. Royal says, I love the lessons that you share. That's why you are my sissy in my head. I love that. I didn't make up the term life quake. There's actually a book that I've shared. Let's see if I got my book. I carry it around with me. Life is in the transitions. Bruce Failer, he calls it a life quake. And it's mastering change at any age. Excellent, excellent book. And he um, coined the phrase. I don't know, he might have gotten it, I've forgotten, but that's where I got that from. Um, Glorious Life on Wheels is saying at first glance, things seem so devastating to turn out to be blessings. Absolutely. 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 All right, good people. Patreon community. Tomorrow evening at, let me see if I can pull it up while we're talking. We are gathering in community tomorrow evening. There's a Zoom link in Patreon for, I guess I can look at my calendar. We are gathering tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Patreon community gratitude gathering. Tomorrow is my day, and so I'm offering a gratitude gathering at 8 p.m. tomorrow for Patreon folks to join if you have time and availability. Okay, so I see a little random dog out there. Anyway, that is, if you can join us, please join us tomorrow. Um, Linda saying it sounds like it's time to go. Yes, be sure to join tomorrow. Um, I have work I need to be out here doing in the middle of the day while it's warm. It was really cold this morning, so I want to get out there and do that. It's always, always, always my pleasure to be in community with you all. I thank you all for being the community that you are. You all have sustained me these 365, 366 days, and I am grateful for you all, immensely grateful for you all. Hi, Kitty. Um, WLJ, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, the dog is replaced. So a cat already showed up here. And funny thing happened last night. So my friend's house I'm staying at, he's traveling, and I pulled up to his house and I needed him to cut off the alarm. And while I was sitting in the car waiting, I could see some eyes in the backyard. So I pulled back to shine my headlights in his yard, in the backyard, and there was a black cat sitting back there. So I said, there's a black cat sitting in your backyard and I didn't bring him over here. And he said, oh, yes, you did. He said, I've never seen a cat in my backyard, so I know you brought that cat over here. So I just laughed. He was like, for sure you brought the cat. So yeah, there was a cat here within the first week. I put a picture of him on Instagram. Within the first week, there was a cat sitting on the porch. So, and I've seen my babies. I did go back. Was that this week? I think it was this week. Monday, I think is I went back to my old site to clean it up. Like I believe in leaving something as I found it or better than I found it. And I wanted to go back out and clean up the area. And so I went out and I got to see my babies. And just wished them well and thanked them for being my babies. Absolutely, I love black cats. I hope so, Michelle. I hope so. I hope so. All right. Thank you very much. Fantastic day to you all as well. Thank you for showing up for me and for being this amazing community. I hope to be able to connect with some of you all tomorrow in Patreon for our gratitude gathering. And for those of you who want to, let me see if I can find the link, are interested in joining us on Patreon, I'm going to drop the link for that in the chat. And they did. I agree with that. She's saying my cat sent out a call. All right. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mara. I appreciate that. All right. Happy Sunday. Have a great day. Thank you all, and we will talk soon. Take care.